continuation of station 4. For this problem number 3, we're going to take the 0.5 and we're going to multiply it through to both the x and the negative 1.78. So this is going to take care of the distributive property. So we're going to have a blank plus a blank is equal to 0.25, and make sure that you don't drop any of those decimals. You want them to be large enough so that you can always see them clearly. So 0.5 we multiply by x, and then we take the 0.5, or the 1/2, and we multiply it by the negative 1.78. In the next step, we simplify. 0.5 times x is 0.5x. Then 0.5 times negative 1.78 is going to give us 0.89, and that's equal to our 1/4 x. Now we've completed the distributive property section, so we think about if we have any like terms to collect on the left side. We do not, and we don't have any like terms on the right side to collect. So now we're ready for the section where we label each side. I'm going to put the variables on the right side and the constants on the left side. So that 0.81 or 0.89 should remain on the constant side on the left, but the 0.5x needs to move over to the variable side. So we're going to use inverse operations to move it to the other side. We're going to subtract 0.5x from each side. And on the left, 0.5x minus 0.5x equals 0, and we're left with 0.89. On the other side, we take 0.25x and we subtract 0.5, and we get negative 0.25x. Now the negative 0.25 is keeping the x from being alone. It's being multiplied by the x, so we need to use the inverse operation, division. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other to maintain equality. A negative 0.25 divided by a negative 0.25 equals 1, so we're left with 1x. And a 0.89 divided by a negative 0.25 gives us negative 3.56. Number 4. Again, we need to deal with the distributive property section first. Then we're going to collect like terms, and then we're going to write in our symbols. So the first step is to circle our distributive property section, which includes the parentheses, the number in front of it, and the sign in front of that number. Everything else we're just going to copy down. So this is 6. An addition sign signifies the start of the distributive property section. And then we go ahead and we write out a blank plus a blank, and then that equals the 3/8 x. In the blank, we put negative 1/8, and that's distributed to the x. And then we also take the negative 1/8, and it's distributed or multiplied by the positive 4. And then we simplify from here. And we get 6 plus a negative 1/8 x plus, and let's go ahead and multiply this, negative 1/8 times, and we're going to write this as a fraction. Continuing to simplify, we take 6, we add the negative 1/8 x, and then we multiply across. So negative 1 times 4, we get negative 4. 8 times 1, we get 8. So now you can see that we've completed the distributive property. Now we need to complete the collecting like terms portion. On the left side, we can combine the negative 4/8 and the 6. So the negative 4/8 really equals negative 1/2. So it's like taking 6 and subtracting 1/2. So we are going to be left with 5 1/2. Oops, I didn't mean to put an equal sign there. Now we've collected the like terms, so it's time to put in our symbols. I'm going to put the variables on this side, and I'm going to put the constants on the left side. So when you look at the left side, this constant should stay put, but this variable with its coefficient needs to move to the other side. So we're going to use the inverse operation to move it to the other side. Negative 1/8x, negative 1/8x plus 1/8x equals 5 1/2. And then that equals 4/8x. At this point, we want to change the 5 1/2 to an improper fraction. So we take 5, we multiply it by 2 and get 10. Add 1, we get 11 halves. And this 4/8 reduces to 1/2. The 1/2 x we've been talking about in class, to get this x alone, we can use the reciprocal of the fraction that's keeping it from being alone. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So on the left side, we get 22 divided by 2. By multiplying across, on the right side, we get 2 over 2x. When we multiply across, 2 times 1 and 2 times 1. So we get 1x on the right side, and we get 11 on the left side. So x equals 11. And I think we have time on this video for one more. So we're going to try to do this quickly. We copy down negative 6x plus 14 plus, and that addition sign signifies the start of the distributive property section. And then on the other side, I'm not going to do the distributive property over here yet until I have more room. So I'm going to take the 4 and multiply it by the negative x. Then I'm going to take the 4 and multiply it by the 2. And then we're going to simplify. Negative 6x plus 14, and then this is plus a negative 4x plus 8 equals, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the distributive property section on this side. Blank plus blank, and then we tack on the minus 9 at the end. In this first section, we're going to have 3 multiplied by the x. In the second section, it's going to be 3 times the negative 9. And then we continue to simplify. On this side, we have negative 6x plus 14 plus a negative 4x plus 8. And on the right side, we get 3x plus a negative 27 minus 9. Now we can move to the part where we collect like terms. On the left side, I have a negative 6x and a negative 4x, which will give me negative 10x. I also have a constant term, 14, and a constant term, 8, and I get a total of 22. On the other side, I can combine negative 27 and the negative 9. And then I just carry down the 3x. So now we've collected like terms on the left and right side, and we can label each side. So the left side I'm going to label as the constant side, and the right side I'll label as the variable side. So I'm going to start by moving this variable to the right side using inverse operations. On the left side, negative 10x plus 10x equals 0. I'm left with 22. On the right side, 3x plus 10x equals 13x, and then I carry down the negative 36. Now I'm going to move the negative 36 over to the constant side by using the inverse operation. The opposite of subtraction, or a negative 36, is a positive 36. And then I'm left with 13x on the right side because negative 36 plus 36 equals 0. And I'm left with 58 on the other side. The last step is divide each side by 13, and we get x equals 58/13. And that's all we have time for.